Wayne is the assistant chief for Willowvale Fire Company, and he's been there since 1998. I mean, it's an honor that I could say that my husband is a volunteer firefighter, as much as it can be hard, you know, if we're doing something and then he gets up and leaves, or middle of the night, it's 3 in the morning and the pager goes off, there's a fire, he goes. Wayne is probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He always does for other people. He really cares about other people, and he cares about what people think about what he does. He would rather help you than probably help himself. I don't think he ever knew how good a father he would be, but he's probably the best. Wayne worked nights, so he was tired all the time anyways. So he'd come home, he would sleep during the day, and then he'd be up for a little while, and then he would have to take a nap. And he was just more tired than normal. Then he got a cold that we just kind of never went away. And so I'm like, okay. So he started to get swollen lymph nodes. So we went to the doctors, they did antibiotics, antiviral, antifungal, they did everything, and it just never really went away. We went in to see the surgeon. He sat us down and he said, I hate to tell you this, but your husband has cancer. Wayne has ALL, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or lymphoma. I never saw somebody in so much pain. It's awful. It's awful. To see somebody in pain that you can't help. Being a wife, being a nurse. It's awful. When you have a family member diagnosed with cancer, it's not just that person going through it, it's the family going through it. And at the time it was Wayne and I. So financially, I mean, we've spent thousands of dollars on co-pays. So I can't imagine what people go through that don't have insurance. But it's incredibly expensive. The fire department gave Wayne a purpose. He always says, even when the pager goes off in the middle of the night, and I'm like, are you really going? He'll say, it makes me feel normal. It makes me feel like a human, like I'm helping somebody else. I don't go to the fire department and they look at me like I'm a cancer patient. I have purpose. At the moment, Wayne is in remission. As far as we know, I guess you could never truly say there's no cancer cells in you, but the doctors are confident that he's doing well, and we go out to Buffalo for his checkups, and they say, you know, come every 6 months, you're doing great, let us know if anything changes. As far as the leukemia, all his bone marrows have been clean, and we hope they continue to be clean. Life now is very busy. We have a beautiful boy, he's 8 months old, named Ethan. I'm working part-time, Wayne's working full-time. So life is very busy at the moment, which is good.
Terrifying feeling of leaving Diane and, you know, not being around for her was extremely hard. It means the world to you. I mean, you can never repay these people. I can never repay her for, you know, the late nights, the screaming, the waking up in the middle of the night, and excruciating pain for reasons we can't figure out because of the medication. The being sick, the not wanting to get out of bed, her having to do all the shoveling around and cleaning the house while I couldn't get out of bed for almost a year. Yeah, I mean, there's no greater feeling to know that you have that support, and there's no way to ever express or show somebody the gratitude you have for it besides telling them thank you 1,000 times, but that can only go so far.
Tony's been volunteering for 10 years. He volunteers for the Schuyler Volunteer Fire Company. Tony is a caring, loving, he'll do anything for anybody. He'll take his shirt off his back for you. He's incredible. I have to say it was one of the calls where the house was a fully involved structure fire. They said that there was a couple people that were trapped. When that came over the pager, he was out the door within seconds. When they go in, you don't know if they're going to make the right call to come out on time. You know, if the building's going to collapse on them. Daddy is their hero. It's tough on them, but our youngest wants to be just like him, wants to be a firefighter. He called me and he said, my doctor called me. He's like, and I have cancer. We actually didn't say anything to our kids for about maybe a month after. When we told them, they were devastated. Everybody was devastated. And it's a roller coaster for us. The first time Tony had cancer, it was stage 3. They took out 27 lymph nodes. The second time he had cancer, it metastasized to his liver. And the third time, which is now, it's stage 4. We've been traveling to New York City every 2 weeks. The cost of going to the city and everything that's going on, we obviously have to take it a day-to-day basis because it is a hardship. And you have to tell your kids sometimes you can't do some stuff when you have bills to pay, and sometimes you can't pay these bills because there's not enough money coming in. And then when you try to go get help, you can't get help. The volunteer fire service has helped our family extremely. They've always been there for us. They've been there for us day one. I don't know what I would do, you know, if I lost them. I have no idea. I don't know what they would do if they lost their father. We always say why. Why him? Why anybody? But why 3 times? It's a struggle every day when the kids say, Dad, can you go do this? And he's like, I can't, I'm tired. You know, I'm on my chemo, I have to watch what I do.
I'm scared. Every time, most frequently the last time, I was angry. I was mad. Why? Why me? Why anybody? I mean, I've never done anything growing up. I've always been out there to help everybody else, and this time I had to ask for help.
When he was on the chemo and still on the chemo, and the first time around, you know, I didn't say it to him. I, you know, lied to him about it. I said it to my mom. Did he look sick? And he did. It's a struggle every day. You just gotta, you know, look forward to the next day and just hope that, you know, it will become better.
John and I have been married for over 32 years. We have 3 beautiful children. Alyssa, who is married and had just recently had a beautiful baby boy, William John. And then there's Joshua, who currently lives in Ohio and is serving in the National Guard. And then there's Jonathan, who works for the state. He's also a volunteer firefighter with Wine and Skill, just like his father. John, you know, enjoyed mentoring him as a firefighter. He was very proud doing that. One of the biggest fires that I remember, and it was a fully involved fire, and I remember him going, and actually we were celebrating our anniversary. It was in October, and we were having dinner, and the call went out, and if he always said, you know, when the big one comes, no matter what you're doing, you stop what you're doing and you go. That's just what you do. He left and he went to that, and I remember sitting here that night because he was gone for, you know, for quite some time, and thinking to myself, you know, I hope he's okay, because, you know, I knew what was going on. I knew the magnitude of the fire. So, you know, obviously you get nervous, you stay by the scanner to try to listen to see what's going on, to make sure that, you know, that everybody's okay. He was very humble. He was a very caring man, very caring husband, loved taking care of his family, did a very good job of that, was very protective of his family, very proud of his family, his kids. John and I met when I was 16, and we've been together ever since. We were married, I was only 20 years old, so we were married 32 years. So he's always been a part of my life. In January of 2015 was when they did the biopsy, and that was when, I'm sorry. The lumps came back that he had amyloidosis, which none of us had ever heard of. And if you look it up online, it's a very scary disease. So they sent him for a bone marrow biopsy, and it came back that he had multiple myeloma. Financially, yes, it was, it was a burden. I was only working part-time, so, my part-time pay and trying to, to pay all your bills, and you're obviously bringing in less income than you were before. Plus you're dealing with your co-pays on your insurance. And then we also made the trips, to Boston out of pocket, where you had the hotels, you had your food, your gas, your tolls, that kind of thing. And then myself, I ended up, taking a leave of absence for a few months where I was getting no pay whatsoever. So it does, burden the family, absolutely. The fire department also, they were right by his side, fighting along with him, and and hoping, and we were all praying that, he was going to get through it and get into remission. He had, a hard time dressing, showering, and just getting around. He needed help, and there was a lot of appointments to go to, and he really couldn't drive anymore either. And I wanted to be here for him because he took such good care of us. I wanted to take care of him. I had to make the decision of the do not resuscitate, which I did not want to do. But I knew it was the right thing to do. But after the doctors explaining everything and how weak he was, and it was no quality of life for him, and he wouldn't want to live like that. So basically his last day, he was just he was so uncomfortable, where they ended up, just giving him morphine to make him comfortable. At the age of 54, he has so much life to live. I miss him every day. There's not a day or a moment that I don't think about him, that he should be here. He always said we were a team, and we are, and I'm missing my teammate. I can't even describe how much it hurts.